Hi guys, I'm back today at locals with we just had our Sunday locals, 15 players, 4 rounds of Swiss. I came first because I'm amazing and good at the game. Jokes. Yeah, I won with Sword Soul. But second place, we got Springans. Very good deck. Do you want to get into the profile, Abby? And what did you play first?
My matchups, round one was Kashtira. That was a draw, but with Springans, that's pretty good. Then it was Odd Eyes, which was an interesting one. Witchcrafter with their new cards, and Branded. So
pretty diverse locals then, yeah?
Yeah, pretty diverse.
I'll let you take in because I know nothing about this deck. So
okay, so start with Springans monsters. 2 Rocky, 2 Brothers, 1 Sargas, 1 Branga, and 1 Pedor. These are our machines. So, they all have the same effect of while in a hand, field, or grave, they can, once per turn, attach themselves to an extra Z controller's material. Then you all have effects. Rocky, on normal or special, adds a Springans from grave to hand. Brothers, upon being sent from hand or deck to grave, reborns a Springans, so it's a pretty good extension. So I guess I get 2. Branga can banish itself and a Springans monster from grave to add any Springans card from deck to hand. Pedor, I might cut for another Rocky, but he can tribute himself from field to special any Springans from grave, so it can get you an XYZ or some of the big names. Captain Sargas, he's part of your end board. You don't want to draw him. He likes turning up in hands. He, once per turn, quick effect, during your opponent's turn, while he's on the field, can detach a material from an XYZ control to pop a face-up card, which is pretty useful. We do also run 3 of another Springans monster, 3 Springans kit. Probably familiar with this from Branded. On normal or special, adds any Branded spell trap from deck to hand, then puts a card from hand on the bottom of deck, which puts your bricks back in your deck as well, which is nice. And then if you have a Fallen of Albaz fusion on field or grave, she can special herself from hand, which is very helpful with the target we have for her, Branded in High Spirits. This card comes up now and again in various formats. You activate it, reveal a monster from hand, send a monster with the same type with 2500 attack from your extra deck to the grave, and then you can discard the reveal card to add a card that mentions Fallen of Albaz from deck to hand. So usual plays, you summon kit, add this, reveal any of your Springans, send Sprint from your extra deck to grave, then add another kit. Because Sprin mentions Fallen of Albaz, you can special the kit you added. It also triggers Brothers, which then reborns another monster from grave, so this is a really nice extension and can help you combo off if you've drawn weird hands without your field spell. 1 Regulus, he's searchable, you're on a lot of machines, may as well. So having a negate is very useful, especially if you're playing against Branded.
And it negates the effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, negates the effect, not the activation.
Yeah, so they can't activate another Branded fusion.
Yes, and also on the Branded Lost it still works.
Yeah.
The Heart and Soul of the deck. 3 gold, Grape Sand Sea Gold Golgonda. This card is basically our Branded fusion, but it's not that good. While it's in the field spell zone, once per turn you can discard a Springans card, any card, to special a Springans XYZ from extra deck. This can only happen if you don't control a Springans XYZ, but usually it's an empty board, so it's fine. And, well, this is how you stack your plays, really. And because of that, we are on 3 copies of Springans Watch, 3 Springans Booty, and 1 Terraforming. Terraforming is obviously an extra copy of this. Both of these, this can add Golgonda from deck to hand, and this can send itself from field to activate a Golgonda from deck or grave. These both have extra effects if you already have Golgonda. Booty, if an XYZ leaves the field by card effect, can target a monster your opponent controls, it can activate its effects this turn, which if you draw Golgonda plus Booty, you might... It's kind of interaction. Watch is really good with Golgonda, because it's, if you control Golgonda, instead adds a Springans from deck to hand and Foolish as a Springans. So
it's pretty insane.
Rota Foolish. But it's not the most insane card in the deck. The new one, Tally Ho, which is the best name. Upon activation, you can detach up to 3 material from an XYZ you control. Then you add a Springans monster from deck to hand, then special summon Springan monsters from your hand or grave up to the number of material detached. It's a Road to Soul Charge. It does everything you want. It comes up sometimes from grave. It can only use one effect per turn once that turn, and its other effect is in grave. It can detach a material from next to the control, add itself back to hand, gets you a Springans back to hand for Golgonda, and also triggers the other XYZ in the deck. 3 Sprite Smashers. This card has text on it. Obviously, normally you expect this in Sprite, but this, at the cost of banishing one Springans Therion's a Sprite card from hand or grave, so most of the deck, can activate one of 3 effects. It's obviously got the banish a level rank linked to control on a card your opponent controls, which can come up. But it can also Monster Reborn a Therion's monster from your graveyard, which Monster Reborn regulars get another negate can be decent. But the main effect is it is an E-Telly for Springans monsters.
That's really insane.
No one realizes it could do that until you activate it and they look at you funny.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's good. It's good if you don't have other ways to make plays. Sometimes you just need to get a monster from deck.
Yeah.
Rest of the deck is generic cards. 3 Ash, there's a lot of branded here, and it's still decent in the Kashtira.
Yeah.
3 Nibiru, probably gonna cut this at this point for something else. Keep this in the side deck, but wasn't too good today. 3 Eclipse, because it's good into most of the decks in the format. And 3 Imperm, because it's actually very, very good. Sometimes you just need to Imperm Kashtira Unicorn or something, and it swaps most of it. Yeah. Or Imperm the Arise Heart, because this deck is very graveyard based. And a Macrocosmos can kill the deck if you don't have a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Extra deck. 3 Springans Merrymaker. He's the main guy you go off of Golgonda. Upon being special summoned from the extra deck, which is notably not when XZ summoned, it can Foolish Burial any Springans monster. So the idea is you activate Golgonda, pitch a Springans, make this then sends Brothers from deck to grave, and Brothers can then reborn the monster you discarded.
Yeah.
That's how you get your play started. He also has another effect, once per turn, during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, he can banish himself, and then if he has 2 or more material, you can send a fusion from extra deck to grave. So during your opponent's turn it will banish itself, send Sprin for follow-up next turn, and also triggers Booty and the other effect of Golgonda, which I didn't mention because they don't come up too much, but it has 2 more effects. Connects these leads to field, you can target a monster your opponent controls, it can't attack that turn, which occasionally stops your opponent from going for lethal.
Yeah.
I won a game against Kashtira on 100 life points because of that. And also, triggers Booty. So yeah, it's helpful. Tour Explorer, he's the other one you might make off of Golgonda. He, once per turn, this is a weird effect. Once per turn, you can attach any number of materials from him. Choose a zone of your opponents, a monster zone or a spell trap zone. Then pop cards in the chosen zone and next to the chosen zone. So, say, if you choose here, you can pop these 5 up to the material detached. So, if your opponent's not playing their columns correctly, you might get like a pop 3-4. Especially,
that's actually really insane.
Especially with the Springans effect to attach themselves from grave to this, it can pop a lot going second. And of course, the new guy. He is what makes the deck tick. Gigantic Champion Sargass. Once per turn while he has material, adds any Springans or Therion's card from deck to hand. So you might add Regulus with him, but sometimes you just want to extend with your Springans and get your board, so you can add anything. He also has a second effect, which is quite funny, where once per turn, if a material is detached from any XYZ monster, he can target a card in the field and either pop it or bounce it.
Yeah.
So with the other Sargass, the end board tends to be 3 material Merrymaker, Sargass and the other Sargass. Fetch 1 from this Merrymaker, pop 1, and then pop another or bounce another. Then Merrymaker will banish itself to trigger Sprint for follow-up. It's a decent enough end board most of the time that you survive and can then follow up next turn.
Yeah.
He is also notably not a Springans monster, which means if you control a Springans XYZ, you can slap him on top of it, and then you can now activate Golgonda again to special another Springans XYZ.
You can slap Zeus on top as well.
You can also slap Zeus on top, which, yeah, I'll come to that. 3 sprint. Weirdly enough, especially going first, you kind of send one of these every single turn. He, during the end phase, specials a Springans from deck or adds it to hand, so you can special Rocky during your opponent's turn if you send one of these to then add a Springans from grave to hand again. It gets you a lot of advantage. He also is how you summon Sargass to then have the pop on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
So it's a very good card. And then the generic things. Redoer. Sometimes you just make an extra rank 4 and he's one of the best. He also triggers all your leave by card effects and also triggers Gigantic Champion Sargass. So
yeah,
he's really good. 1 Emerald. Might cut this. It's just a case of if you summon with Golgonda, you cannot resummon the monsters again. So this can just be a way to recycle your fusions, recycle your XYZs.
yeah.
And of course, I should be on 2 of this, but I only own 1. It didn't come up today though, that I only had 1, so that was nice. It's Zeus. You can genuinely, if you try hard enough, get like a 6-8 mat Zeus sometimes. It gets pretty funny. And then these 2, it's sadly gold rares, but you know. Sometimes you just have extra random levels of monsters and just want, you know, the shuffle back.
IP unicorns are really insane still.
Yes. Also, IP, Link 2. You can use those with smashers to remove something with that instead.
Gank them up, yeah.
Gank them up.
Side?
Yes. Side deck. No longer on Sphere mode. I'm on 3 different rarities of 3 Gamma Seal.
Oh, yes.
You need to out there a Rise Heart specifically, so that's what you care about. Similarly, Book of Moon. I want to out a Rise Heart, so if I want to ensure the Rise Heart is face down, I can side Eclipse, I'll say, or something else. Sacro Hate, because Labyrinth is a deck, don't want to deal with that. Similarly, Evenly, it helps most of the boards you have to deal with. Not many negates running around this format, which is nice. And the tax of the format. You do get hit by the XYZ choice, which is annoying, but it's still, sometimes it's good enough.
It's a really insane card.
It is, it is.
Any changes you'd make to the deck at all going forward?
Definitely extra Zeus, maybe change the ratios of Springans monsters around a bit, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, the deck's they're performing well.
That's right. Last time I profiled you, you were playing branded Dark World.
Yeah,
that was ages ago.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I've been on pure branded for now, but I thought I'd give this a spin.
That's fair.
Done well.
We're done well, yeah.
Yeah.
Second place. Cheers, Abby.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Cheers.